Hey, what's up everybody, how are you doing? In today's video we are going to talk about how you can use the Python to scrap the data from the GST site. In the last video I talked about how you can use the Python to scrap the data like the GST number, the registration type, whether the registration is active or composition, the place of the business, whether the GSTIN is active or suspended or cancelled and stuff like that. But in this today's video we are going to make a Python bot to scrap not the data which I talked about in the last video but the written filing table. Now once you go to this site GSTIN search and you enter the GSTIN number, you just need to enter the captcha and press the enter, and now if you scroll down you will see that button like the show filing table, and once you hit that button you will see 4 tables. The first table talks about the GSTR3B for maybe around 10 tax periods, the GSTR ones which also talks about 10 tax periods, and the 9 and 9C respectively both talks about only this 4 tax periods, nothing but the financial year. Okay, so now we want to scrap this table into an Excel sheet where each worksheet will be named as the respective GST numbers and each worksheet will contain these 4 tables. So that's our main agenda. So let's get started. I will show you first then input Excel. Now this is the book one which has been input Excel, and here are the GST numbers. Now for the sample purpose I have taken into considerations only 2 GST numbers. You can add 150, 1000, 2000 wherever the Excel has limitations, right? So Python can process all, but make sure that you must have a proper system for that too. Okay, so let's go to the codes. So here's the code. The code is okay, it's 100 lines code. For a beginner it can be a nightmare, but it's okay. I will show you the overview of the code. The pre-requirements are you must have a basic knowledge of the Python. The main 2 modules I have used, as you can see, one is the Selenium. Now Selenium is used to play with the web pages, and the second module is used the Pandas to play with the Excel. You can see I also use the Py2GUI. Now Py2GUI it is not necessary, but for only one line I use the Py2GUI. Now Py2GUI is used to play with keyboard buttons and the mouse buttons. Okay, so let's get start with this. You can say the code. So first I will talk about this. Now this is nothing but we are importing the modules. I have imported the time. Now time is the universal module. What time specifies is that the time and open parenthesis, and you will specify some number of seconds. For that number of the seconds, irrespective of whatever the module, whatever is the code will stop, right? So time is the module. It is very useful. So I used time, imported time. I have imported the Py2GUI as earlier mentioned, and the Pandas and the Selenium. Now here you can see the OpenPyXL. I will talk about that later, why I imported that, what is the use of that. So now we are opening the edge. So this is the code for opening the edge. Now you need 2 things to open the edge. First, you require the target site to which you need to hit or target. So I have just written here the target site, but before that, in order to open the edge, there has to be some integration between the Python and the edge. And that integration, that connection is nothing but driven by the WebDriver. Now this is the WebDriver. WebDriver is nothing but an exe file, so which Python accesses to automate the web browser. Now if you want to perform this code, you can perform it either on Chrome, either on Edge, or your Mozilla Firefox. Now in order to download the drivers, you just need to Google, you need to type your Chrome or browser, or the Edge browser, or the Mozilla Firefox browser, and just add the WebDriver. Now you will go to the respective site and just make sure that the version is same. If the version of the WebDriver and the version of your browser is not same, the code will not run, you will get an error. So this is the story of WebDriver. Now let's move towards the maximize window. So many times what happens is that whenever we run the code, you will be getting a minimize window. So to maximize that in every scenario, I use this. Now here is the first code in which we use the time module. Time.sleep is 5. That means for 5 seconds my code will stop. Why? Because to hit or to go into this GST, there can be situations where the site might take longer time or the code might take longer time. Now make sure that this 5 is not again universal. It is very subjective. For a PC or laptop with low specification, this can be 10. For a PC or laptop with ever high-end specification, you can even skip this. Now we are using the Pandas to read the Excel. Why we need to read the Excel? Because this is nothing but the input file. We are somehow reading these 2 GST numbers, trying to enter in the GST site and sending these GST numbers to the GSTIN input field. So for that we need to first of all read the Excel. Now I use the pandas to read the Excel, and I have given the directory of that Excel. Now once we done the job, we need output, and that output has to be again in an XLSX format. Now we are using this again the pandas to write the output Excel. I have again given the directory, and I have given the output 9 XLSX, and now here comes the engine are of two types. One is the OpenPyXL and one is an XLS writer. You can choose whatever is want, but before writing OpenPyXL or XLS writer, we need to import that, otherwise you will again get an error that module not found. Okay, now we move towards the next part, that is the looping. This is the heart of this code. Okay, so I have given here the loop. Why loop? Because this GST number cannot be 1, this can be 150, this can be 1000. For each GST number I have to perform the same task, so I have given the loop. If I just print this, that is print entry, I will get the GST number, but that is not the the real GST number, it is something with the heading. So in order to find what are the keys which are included in the GST number, that is nothing but the heading, we are using here the entry function. Now this will send the keys in this parameter. So what is this parameter? This is nothing but the parameter we will get when you just go to the GSTIN site. You will have two fields, the captcha field and the GST number field. So this is the Selenium. We are using the Selenium again to find this element to send the GST numbers here. And now we are just given this list. Now these are the fourth list we are given. Now this is you must have the prerequisites knowledge of the pandas to know about this. I told you that PyAutoGui I used only for one line, and this is the line where I have used the PyAutoGui. Now what happens is that whenever you enter the GST numbers, we need to press the tab to go into the captcha. So we either can use the mouse also, but many times PyAutoGui has one of the limitation is that whenever you are accessing the keyboard or the mouse, you can't use that, which is nothing but the advantage of Selenium. Selenium can work as a very background process. So I use this, and again I have given the time.sleep. Now this is again a very important part. So whatever is happening is that I need to make sure that the web driver, that is nothing but the Selenium driver, it will wait for some period of time, or it will wait until a condition has been satisfied. Now what is the condition is that if you see, for every time the captcha length is always 6. So what I am using here, WebDriver wait. So my Selenium WebDriver will wait for 20 seconds unless there is an exception which has been added, until the length of the captcha which has been inputted by me is equals to the 6. So it will wait for the 20 seconds, an exception which has been there if the captcha length is 6. Now here there are two possibilities, either the captcha is wrong or either the captcha is whatever is correct. If the captcha is correct, it will proceed to this code, but if the captcha is wrong, I have again added one more WebDriver wait. Now what this is saying, now again I am waiting the WebDriver for 60 seconds and adding the exception that this element is shown. Now this element can only be shown or only be available in the web page only if the captcha written is correct. Suppose this is nothing but the place of the business. Now place of business can only be accessible if the captcha is correct. So what I am telling here the Selenium is that wait Selenium for 60 seconds, and if within the 60 seconds if this page or this element is shown which can be accessed only through writing the correct captcha, then proceed. So this is nothing but, again I will say, a very important part in web automation. Now if we are moving towards this, now I have already told you that we have the show filing button. So this is nothing but finding out the show filing button, clicking on that, and again giving the time.sleep 2 seconds. Okay, so now we are moving towards the next part. Now here we are saying that the GST number is nothing but the entry.GST number, which is nothing but this GST numbers, and I have defined the P is nothing but DF plus GST numbers. So if I print P, I will get two results, that is DF plus GST number, that means DF plus this 37 AAD and the 23 AAD, and I have given this P here. So now I have done this code for 4 times. So basically the logic remains same. I have just replicated the logic for 1, 9 and 9C. So I will explain only for 3B. Okay, so as you can see, first of all is that there is a similarity in these 4 tables. The 3B and 1 is for 10 tax periods and the 9 and 9C for 4 tax periods. Obviously we need to use the looping, so I have used again one loop. So this is the case of a nested looping, and I have given that for z in range this length functions. Now there are two options, either you can write 10 here by just manually calculating 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. You can write 10. Or what I have done is that I have just again told the Selenium to find this element, and once this element has been found, just count the length of this element. So that will again give me the 10. Now this is again the case which is very subjective, you can do in either of the ways, right? And then I have just told the Selenium to find these four elements, this financial year, the tax period, the data filing, and the status, and I have given this under the loop, so it will find this all 10 elements, the contents of the table. And lastly, I told the pandas to create these headings for in an Excel, and under this heading these 4 are the values. And lastly I have told the pandas to write in Excel, and index is false. Now index is false is that if you don't write this attribute, I will say, so you will receive an Excel file where the leftmost column will be 0 1 2 3 4 5. So in order to avoid that, I have just given the value false. Sheet name is nothing but the GST number, so for every GST number the sheet name will be the GST number. Now this is very important. Start row is 1. Start row is 1, that means it will start by skipping 1 row. So 1 row you can keep it for heading purpose. I've done this for all 4. The only difference is that for 9 and 9C I already mentioned that the tax period is 4. So I have given the another element which length is only 4, and repeated the full procedures. But in this one more thing that should be taken into consideration is that the Excel file has on the left side the 3B, then on the right side we have the 1, and on the right the 9, and the right we have the 9C. So here I have just given start column 5, so it will skip 5 columns because 1 row is there. 5 columns is for 3B purpose. So for 3B it will take the 5 columns, and start row 1 is for every common because it's for heading. For this I have skipped the column 10 because 5 for 3B and 5 for 1, and here is 15. Lastly, I have just told the pandas to save this and close, and told the Selenium to close the browser. So I will just save this and let's run this program. As you can see here, there is no output, but one more thing that should be taken into consideration, since the Python is accessing this book 1 XLSS, we need to close this to avoid any kind of the errors. So yeah, it's now time to run this code. As you can see, the Microsoft Edge has opened up, it has maximized, it will type the GST numbers, it will wait for us to write the CAPTCHA, we will write the CAPTCHA, it will hit on search, it will hit on show filing table, it will do the job for scrapping this 3B, 9, 9C and 1. Obviously it's gonna take time, it's all dependent on the system specs, whether the laptop is or PC is powerful or not, it's dependent on that. Okay, as you can see here, for first gesture the work has been done. Now it is asking you to write the CAPTCHA for second, and it will do the job for second as well. Okay, as you can see, the Microsoft Edge has been closed. That means our job is done, but we need to check the output, whether the output A9 is there. Yes, let's open. Now here's the catch. See, what is happening is that here's the bug which is in Pandas, which is present in 1.4 version. This is the bug which is only in relation with the OpenPyXL. So since we have used here the engine OpenPyXL, there is a bug. If you want to just kind of fix this bug, you need to go for XLX writer, and you need to play with options function. So that's the case, but in this case there is just no need to do that. You just need to place yes. Do you want us to try to record? Excel is asking us to recover. Just hit on yes, and here just close this. And as you can see, first of all, there are 2 worksheets named as the respective GST numbers, and for each worksheets you have this 3B, maybe 9, no, this can be a 1, this is the 9 and this is the 9C. You can do this kind of formatting and just write the heading. You can do that in Python also, not that much big issue, and did the same for this too. So that's it for this video. I hope you guys got an idea on how you can use this Python. I will drop the code in the description box below. You can just run this code, plus please make sure that you have appropriate Edge driver, you have this, you need to change this directory and stuff like that. So, and you need to obviously have the basic knowledge, the basic installation of Python, basic modules, if you want to use this kind of code. Again, if you have any queries, contact me in the comment box. I will try to solve as many as possible. And in earlier video I also talk about that CAPTCHA automation can be possible in the Python, but we need to use the VPN for that, and it's very complicated process. So yeah, for now we will just do this job by manual, right, in the capture. It's not that much big deal. If you like this video, please make sure to subscribe and like this video. I will see you in the next, maybe some kind of good Python project. Thank you so much.